your presence is not just the superficial presence that you portray, but it's more like a reflection of your inner self. And when we see someone like you who has practiced it and very beautifully, you are reflecting the same. We should be careful about, especially being strategic about the image also.
Be intentional, like how for your job or how for your children you're so focused and intentional. Treat your wardrobe and clothes like that and be intentional about it.
Which is worthy, is so helpful, not just professionally but personally too. So, yeah, beautiful examples, and I love that. The confidence in the second example. Beautiful. So, according to you, and of course, the way you have helped people, how can professionals build presence without feeling they are putting on a performance? Because remember, we talked about that you are someone else in the morning, someone else in the evening. Because as a human also, it happens that not all of us really love being decked up or being polished, or few people have their own style of being comfortable and approachable in their way. So what is like that 2 cents that you'll give to professionals who want to build the commanding presence, who want to build the impactful presence, but without that feeling that they are putting up a lot of performance to it? So anything that you think can add?
So, one is, of course, I'm a big one for authenticity. Okay. And having said that, now everyone's authentic self could be different.
Yes.
And this is a little technical term here, and you're aware of it, I know. Ruchi is also an London Image Institute proud alumni, I must say. So she
Thank
already
you.
knows that, and she's doing a fabulous job. There are universal styles. There are certain types of styles that are actually existing, and each one of us could be in that style.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not pretending. So, what an image consultant will help you do is they're not telling you become someone else, they are identifying your own style and helping you to build on that. When you're doing that, obviously you don't feel pretentious because it's your own core that's being refined.
Yeah.
It's not somebody else that you're trying to be. So there are certain 7 universal styles and there are many added on styles as well. So once the professional, the image consultant or the stylist understands,
Yeah.
and I would totally that what your vision, mission, value, who you are, what are you comfortable in your own skin, they will help you develop it according to that.
Yeah.
So vis-a-vis,
the goals of your life.
Goals of your life. Vis-a-vis, when you're trying to do it on your own, you may, I think YouTube is great and I think online is great, so don't count me wrong here. But when you're doing it on your own and you listen to a part of the reel, you feel, oh, I need to wear this kind of a suit and this is the accessory I need to get. Well, it's not like that.
Yeah.
So there is a lot
What
more
works?
science and art behind it. And it's a hardcore professional feel. It's not that, okay, ye acha lag raha hai to kar liya. I like this,
Yeah.
so I'm doing it. So therefore, you will not feel pretentious if you've gone through it in a proper manner.
Yeah. Let's put it this way, that just to reiterate, if I am taking it the right way and of course communicating the same, that it's important to again be socially appropriate, but it's also important to be you and be an authentic version of you. If you're not comfortable, for example, in a skirt and a blazer, for example, as a girl, then what's the what I'm comfortable in a sari, for example. So how to wear that, but in according to that social appropriateness,
Absolutely,
is
exactly.
what is possible. That's what we are talking about. It's possible if we go through that structured process of discovering our own style and then aligning everything according to our authentic style, but with what's needed for my goals. And definitely any one of us, if needs professional help, it's very okay to go and seek the right help to be the best version of you.
Absolutely. Well
So,
said. Very well said.
This is something which is again, and coming from you, it really makes it adds a lot of value to it, because London Image Institute has been educating and propagating this education for almost more than 30 years now.
Yeah.
So this is such a strong science that all of us, if we are aware, we are going to make wonders with our presence.
Oh, absolutely. So I'll just add here that this is something that I've been saying, and I love it. I call it aesthetic India. I want to see a beautiful aesthetic India. Now, this comes from When I'm again talking about pretentious, and I had it in one of my training sessions actually, and there's a gentleman, a corporate guy, who stood up and said, "What's wrong in dining etiquette?" We were going things, and he was like, "So, but what's wrong in eating with a hand?" And that's how we do with Indian. So my whole deal there is, please do it. There's no harm.
Yeah.
Just learn everything and make a choice of where and how you want to use something.
That's so right.
So it's not, and that what happens is when you're educated, when you're exposed, you have the tools at your hand, but you choose to use it as and when required. It enhances your confidence.
Yes.
You don't have to do it, you choose to do it.
You're packed with armors. You just need, it's your choice when to use what according to your requirements.
Absolutely. And it's again the defense example. We have the weapons not because
Yeah.
we are attacking, but we are a defense country.
Yes.
And we use what we need. Now, if you don't have it and say grapes are sour, that's a sad story because you will never feel confident that way.
True.
तो मुझे आता ही नहीं है, that is another question.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And it's always I think learning things is always a great addition that you can do for yourself. So why not?
Yes.
And also coming to the dining etiquette especially. So I was just going through some I was reading through things, and this question was always there in my mind that especially I belong to Bihar where we eat with hands, right? And South people and food is delicious when you eat with hands. So this question was always there in my mind that personally, that this is our tradition. Why should I eat with a spoon? Why should I eat with a fork and things? And then I was just reading something, and then I understood that, say for example, if you're eating a pasta with a fork and a knife, it's showing respect to that culture.
Absolutely.
Also. So if you go to South and you're eating dosa with your hand, it's a respect that you're showing to that culture. So even that adds to the etiquette that it's not just about learning some formats and ways, but it's also to connect with the people of that culture.
Absolutely.
Because you're being respectful about about their style, or like each one of the styles. So it's not just why should I eat, it's about if you want to pay the respect, if you want to be mindful, if you want to connect. It's a great idea to know their ways and then just implement it at that moment. So
absolutely, likability. You increase likability and respect. Show respect.
That's so connect, and that's instantly connects you with people. So yeah, I mean, I think etiquette is one thing which I would love to do with you someday. That's a big topic
so
and
big cultural.
Yes.
So when I began my career, actually, I was a lot into cultural training, having worked with globally.
Yeah.
So that really helped.
Definitely, and I think that is a beautiful addition to oneself.
Yeah. So I think it's a beautiful area of work if you're interested in it. Yes, but with a sublime understanding that it's to facilitate, not to divide people.
Yes, true. All right, I think we can come back a little bit towards our, like the handy, guidances we were talking about. So what, according to you again, are some subtle but powerful ways to show credibility during high stakes meetings or, professional setups? So some quick tips from, like as an like an giveaway for the audience, like those quick, tips that instantly can make you look powerful and credible.
Okay. So what registers first in mind when we see somebody, so this is your portrait area, okay? And the face is a very, very important part. Don't forget that. You may be dressed in excellent suit pieces or maybe wearing, I don't know, Jimmy Choo shoes or God knows what, but pay focus attention at this area, okay? Which means top one is still grooming. So the way you've done your hair, the way your face clean, neat, the way you smell, so all your senses in order. So any day the top one is still grooming, which means iron clothes, the tie that you're choosing, the collars that how they are falling. For women, I'm not saying paste yourself with makeup, but the bare minimum that you look presentable. So pay attention to all those things. So the jewelry or the accessories that you have around. Number one, still grooming. Number two would be that when we see something, we register lines, shapes first.
Yes.
Okay. So be mindful of nothing is right or wrong. So some people say, oh, you've always got to be in straight fitted clothes. But if you're trying to be approachable, that doesn't work.
Yes.
So whatever, what I'm trying to say is appropriateness. Okay. Again, a little example. Once I was taken to a meeting, and where we had to sort of buy time. So basically, no decision was to be made, and we were expecting a lot of confusion and heated argument. So though I was not required for that meeting, I was asked by my manager then to join my boss. So I wore this pink sari with flowers on it, and and with a woman in the room, the
The energy is like
energy
balanced.
is like balanced, and people were smiling a lot more, and we could do what we wanted to achieve. So it's about what you want and how you can. So the color, the lines, the patterns can change the mood of the place.
Yes.
Color is very powerful. The line is what the form, shape is what human eye registers first, but it's also the color builds it.
Yes.
So you could use that effectively.
And there's a whole science that goes behind it. It's
Psychology of
not
colour.
superficial, it's not pseudo. It's science that the structures, the patterns, the colors all have so much of impact on our human minds, the way we
Absolutely.
perceive, and it's and I think they play an important, if I'm right, they play an important role in your first impressions. So make
yeah.
sure you're making those few seconds the unforgettable seconds for the
Yeah, yeah.
audience.
So
by-
those first impressions are not only made, they're remembered.
yeah,
And they're
exactly.
lifelong remembered. It's so interesting when I've met people, and even during when I've been interviewed, I've met them years down the line, they don't remember what I've been doing every day, but the first time I met you,
Yeah.
and you'll hear that.
So there's this one thing which when I speak about first impressions, I love this one statement, and I always try to use it, is that with the right guidance and with the right presence, you can be from unnoticeable to unforgettable.
Absolutely.
So with just that few seconds can be the game changer if you are doing things in the right way.
And see, what it takes for those 2-3 seconds is consistency.
Yes.
First, finding out all the things we've spoken about, the gravitas that I spoke about, that it's every day what you do leads to
those
that
few seconds. Yeah,
seconds.
exactly.
That few seconds. Oh, yeah, I now remember the example I was talking about. So, the previous one, remember?
Yeah.
So, the example I was talking about in terms of
The core elements of the executive presence.
No, so I'll combine all of it for you. So I had once gotten this project. So I was dealing with, you've heard of Goethe Institute, Max Muller Bhavan. So I was doing a program which was a cultural awareness for them. And this was all MDs and directors of Southeast Asia, India, Turkey, and Middle East, everywhere. And I was pretty young. I was the youngest one in the room that time. And we had a group of about 24 MDs, senior German gentlemen, traveled the world
Yeah.
and doing cultural awareness for Goethe Institute. For those of you in India, it's called Max Muller Bhavan.
Yeah.
Those who have globally done cultural things. And I had no idea why I was hired. So in fact, when I later became friends, I did ask this question that, why did you hire? That's another story, but let me come back to the point. So in the classroom, what happened that time? So there was literally 350 years of experience sitting in that room. And we were having a discussion, and there were questions coming after it was a workshop, and there were a lot of questions coming, and I was answering. And one of the little one was like some cultural nuances. So the gentleman asked me that I'm quite confused that in India, people get up when a senior person enters the room. So I was like, yes, that's a way of showing respect. So they said, I don't get it. So does it mean when somebody doesn't get up, they're disrespecting me?
Okay.
Okay. So now to my thing, I answered that question, and I think he was convinced. And I told him that it's not that. Look at the eye, the manner it isn't done. It's a bundle of things that you need to look at.
Yes.
So you can't, dissociate and say this is what it is. And similar examples, I see people are smoking, but when their parents come, they hide it. They're not being truthful. Is that disrespectful? So I answered all these questions, or some heavy ones. There was an episode when there was a mass murder, murder in front of a crowd, and this is how could people tolerate it? And I took them back to a cultural experience, of German during the Nazi reign, and spoke about that. Now, in a lot of cases, none of it was related to the topic itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so my reading history, my being aware of news in general, my being alert of what happens in the house, or reading about my tradition or the spiritual background that I come from
Came into role.
So that's what the example I was trying to give you. So when you stand there and deliver, yes, the last 2-3 days of preparation, of doing the PPT, of getting topics together, of very important, getting the work material. Don't get me wrong, I'm a facilitator. This all is very important. But this entire information on the things you do, the trek that you went for, the taxi driver that you spoke with, that's it what makes it ticking for you. And that's what...
That's
you know,
gravitas.
yeah, and that's what... I mean, I always knew what it was kind of, but this particular episode in my life, you know, standing... And then I had that client for 2 years. And I still come back, you know, on time and
Yeah.
again for different projects. And this I'm talking about very, very well-read, high-level people.
And yeah, such a prestigious place with like not just national but a global, you know, I would say, you know, top people from globally at one place, and having this experience as a young woman, I am sure the confidence and, you know, the self assurance that you would have got
Yeah.
on everything that you have been doing would have been amazing.
Yeah, and that's what
happened.
helps you actually build techniques also.
Yes.
Okay, so when you know it's worked for you, so adding on to that, like for example, when I was a flight attendant, so I was not very good with certain things like all youngsters are. So then I developed certain games. So, you know, when you're in the galley, and everybody hates the galley, by the way, because, you know, you're rushing and doing things very, very
Yes,
quickly.
yes.
So it means if it's sugar, your hand should go within a second because there are 5 crew asking you for things. So I started playing this game with myself. So on longer flights, when you had time, I would throw chits and pick up and, you know, do. Or something more related, so that my reaction time from 10 seconds to 8 seconds to 2 seconds. Similarly, one of them was I was very shy to speak to people. You know, communication, which is
I can't believe it.
no, I can't do it. No, but I was to strangers. And as a young child from cantonment, straight away going and meeting international audience,
Yeah.
being in public facing role and in a tube where you have nobody to ask for help, but you've got to deal with it yourself. There's no phone a friend, there's nothing happening. You do it. So I was quite shy and I was like, okay, this is going to be very treacherous, and only one Indian on flight during those days. So the whole crew came from God knows where. So no crew, no nothing, no manager. You don't know what you are up to. So what I developed was I had questions written down. So on every flight, I'm going to talk to 2 or 3 crew or 2 or 3 passengers, and I'm going to ask them these questions. And they're very neutral. Oh, how far is your house? How do you travel to the airport? What's the weather like? Which are the good places to go to?
Wow, but that's
And that broke the ice. But the interesting thing is, after a month of doing this, you know, 4 or 5 flights of doing that, I realized people are waiting to be spoken to.
yes.
And when they came up, it gave me the confidence. Now it became a natural conversation.
Yeah.
And these are some of the techniques that I use in my workshops and classes.
That's beautiful. That's really handy. I think many of us can use those things. If you are like, it's tough to start, maybe just create some formula and format for you, and then follow that format for a few days, and then it becomes a natural extension of your personality.
Discipline sets you free.
Yeah, true. Beautiful. I think this example was important. I'm glad you remember it. Okay, so just a very quick tip again. For someone very early in their career, right? How soon they should start working towards executive presence, especially in that way. I don't mean that, you know, just for people who are stepping into that role, but we always say that dress for the role you want to be in.
Yes.
So how soon as a professional especially we should be like really aware and be prepping up for building up on the presence, especially the executive presence?
So I think it's at every stage. It's not that you should be prepping up. So of course, you've got to be mindful. What I mean to say is when you're in a certain appropriateness again. So appropriateness, not only in terms of what role, what level you are, which company you work for, which weather you are in, which country you are in. It also means you can't outdo other people.
Yeah.
So now if your boss is coming and he's got a certain way of telling, dressing up and showing up, and you overdo it, you know, and you say, I'm being myself. Okay.
Yeah.
I dress myself in a particular way. Sometimes you may have to underdo it also.
Okay.
Okay, so you have to be smart enough. I'm thinking of one of my crew here, excellent person, fantastic top-rated crew. The Passengers loved him.
Mm-hmm.
The crew hated him because he would end up doing more than required, overshadowing other people.
Yeah.
So it's also a question of teamwork.
Yeah.
So my suggestion is in every role, you've got to be intelligent enough to see that what works. You can't say my way or the highway.
Yeah.
And then according to the every stage. I think it begins very early, and I'm quite of the opinion the earlier you start, the better it is. And some people are unknowingly doing it, and those are the people who are standing out.
Yeah.
So see, imagine unknowingly if it's creating such an impact in your life. If you did it with awareness,
True.
it would be fabulous. So as early as possible, I think you should even start it in school, college, or wherever you are.
Yeah. So that's again a time to get up, guys. All right. Okay. I think we covered the entire section of the executive presence. Really, thank you so much, because right from what it is to understanding how to reach there is very important to understand the system completely, right? So just so this is a very different take that I'm going to talk to you right now.
Okay.
I know that she's also a life coach,
Yeah.
which very few people know, I believe. But it's so why not to have a piece of wisdom from a life coach too? So since you have been a life coach and you have coached people, right, and you understand the essence of balance in life, of course, so we would love to hear few things from you on the balance side of things. So leadership often comes with long hours, right, the commitments, the responsibilities, the ownership is a lot more. So what do you suggest for, like, having that right balance when you are especially at that role, and then you have to, because personal life is important too. So what's that mantra of right balance that
Okay.
which you would love to share, maybe?
So interesting enough, the first thing is that balance. Normally, when we say balance, that 50-50 sort of a thing comes in our mind.
Yeah.
सबको लगता है वो सीधा है, ऐसे है, that is. Well, that's not balance. Balance for each person is different. So when you're composed of different things, we have certain competencies that we are born with, each one of us. So if I go with Bhagavad Gita, they are gunas, they are called, that we are born with it. So we are different kind of people. So our balance and how we approach life, or what kind of work or action we need to take, is different.
Yes.
For somebody who is very emotional, so they need bhakti yoga, the emotion element more. If somebody is, very action oriented, karma yoga. If somebody is knowledge oriented, then gyan yoga, depending on what percentages. So for you to be able to identify, one, again coming back to self, who are you, what do you really need, what is your aim, where are you going, and then based on that, you will have to, you can't be sitting saying 50-50 ki अरे मैंने तो इतने घंटे घर पे बिताने और इतने ऑफिस में. It's not possible.
Yeah, it's not feasible.
It's not feasible. So, but the kind of person you are, what does that entail?
Yeah.
And if you're looking at making a learning or improving something, how much time or efficiency? So time, money, energy, space, these four things, how are you going to use it effectively to the role or life that you're looking at? And there's no one mantra, because everyone's mantra will be different for that.
Yeah.
So that ratio, proportion, a bit of mathematics.
And yeah, I think you're right that when you said 50-50, honestly, in my mind also it was 50-50, because that's the instant thing we think of. But understanding the essence of the time and requirement, that what's needed more at this time. So I think that's also about, striking balance is also about that, as you said, that knowing yourself and what is something that you want more,
Yeah.
and doing things accordingly. I think yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you. Okay, this is again something which was off topic, but thanks for answering that so beautifully. So I think we are almost at the tail end, and sorry to make you speak so much.
No, I love
But-
talking.
Okay, so if someone wants to build executive presence or personal branding today, what's that one advice that you give to start from today?
I think go to an image consultant, go to a professional.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. I think that's my top advice. Of course, I've talked about everything, and you can spend hours dwelling on it yourself, looking at 100 videos and doing things. But I think the easiest way, go to a professional, take help, your life will be easy. And of course, check out who you're going to.
Yes.
Credible one, please.
Yeah, that's super important. We should have a guide on that too, that what are the things you should check on when you are going for a professional, because yeah, it's really important, because as we talked about also, there's a lot of science that goes behind it. It's a hardcore profession. It's not, I mean, people who are doing it, great, respect to everyone, but there are certain elements which need to be learned in the right manner, what we learned at LII. So it's important to definitely check the credibilities and go to the right professional who will guide you towards your goals.
Absolutely. And I'm adding another line here, and I think everyone does these discovery calls. Also follow your gut instinct. The
Yes.
energies should match. You
Yes.
not only letting people enter your wardrobe, but they're entering into your energy space. So speaking from a coach's perspective, who you want to work with.
Yeah.
So that's the top one, is that meet the person if you can, or at least have an online face-to-face conversation and see if that, in today's language, it's called vibe.
Yeah.
Or what I like
Vibe
to
check.
call vibe check. But what I like to say is if the energy matches. There are certain people, you come and you realize, no, I mean, just because they have a big name doesn't mean you've got to work
Yes.
with them. Or, of course, money is a deciding factor, but I think an energy is an important one.
Because you share a lot more than just your wardrobe. You share your insecurities, you go over your goals, you go over your thoughts, and it's really important to align with the person you're working with. So
Yes.
I think that was a very, very valuable point. I too believe in that. And one of the reasons I would say I went to, I remember when I was deciding where to go, what to do, and then there was this, I spoke to Priyanka over the phone, and then I was like, no matter where I'm going, whatever pros, cons, whatever, I did my own analysis. I was like, I'm going to go with this lady. I'm going to learn from this lady. So
that's where personal branding helps.
yeah, and that's the energy you were talking about, that you need to resonate with your values and the energy that you're sharing with that person. So yeah, we have the checklist of how
at
to
least
choose
few
the right
things,
professional
yeah.
for you.
Vibe check.
Yeah, because there's nothing right and wrong. It's about who is the one for you.
Absolutely.
So it's
there
about,
is, like they say in marriage, there's one for you. So same in learning, there is one for you.
yeah. So yeah. So I think we covered almost so many things interestingly. And oh yeah, one more thing. So we see Priyanka, and she is always draped in a beautiful sari whenever we see her in special time. So what's your personal brand mantra? Like what's your, if I ask you that, maybe just use 3 words to describe your personal brand, what are those?
Oh, actually, I was given these personal brand things which others recognized.
Mm-hmm.
So my company, the company that I founded, I'm also an LI alumna. So when I had finished my course, I named my company Asil, ASIL. It's a Turkish word.
And that was your image consulting, that was your company which...
For personal branding.
For personal branding.
Image consulting, personal branding.
Yeah.
So yes, that was the company. And that word is a Turkish word which means dignified, noble, pure.
Yeah.
So we do a little exercise during the advanced course where, we have people, entire classmates, they give you 3 adjectives, the question that you asked me. And they give you these 3 adjectives. And that time you also used to have it from anybody who we interacted with, the drivers and everybody. And then we sum it down. So it's a gift from your classmates. So there's a little story here that when the first day when I'd gone for my class, there was a beautiful lady, a Turkish girl, coffee evening, which we also had when you came. And she kept looking at me. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But then later we got to be great friends. Her name is Tulay. We still soul sisters. So Tulay said, every human being should have asalat. That's a Turkish word, and which means dignity.
Okay.
And which is asil hona chahiye. So I
It's
said,
a beautiful
oh.
word, I must say.
I thought this is the biggest compliment I've ever received, or I ever will probably.
That's an achievement.
And that's what came. So when we did this exercise, these are the words that came: elegant, wise, and dignified. And I add my own little one here is kind.
Wow.
So this is me.
This is beautiful, and especially the story that you have. Elegance, I can vouch 100% for it.
I'm glad. My years of hard work.
No, that's beautiful. And you know, the story, oh my God, it just touched my heart because that sense of contentment that you would have got at that time when someone said that,
Yeah.
it means a lot.
Yeah. And
And
I know this is going to go to people. I'm also going to share a picture of me and Tulai, so you
yeah,
can use
we
it.
would love to. We would
Yeah,
love
yeah,
to.
yeah,
We would love to see that and you know, like showcase that too,
yeah,
because you know, when once you see something, you're able to relate and understand it
yeah,
more.
yeah.
So of
So I
course,
came back and I tried many names. I hired a marketing company and we tried 1,000 things and no name resonated. So I asked Tulai, "Is it okay? Do I have your permission to use it?" And she
that's a
said, "By all
beautiful
means."
name.
And it was touched my heart far too much also because when I said I'm going to meet, I would like to meet your father someday, and she said, "Well, he's no more. He died a
Yeah.
year before we had met." So then I was like, okay, this is a message coming from an angel who I've never met.
That's the beauty of
Yeah,
destiny, I
yeah,
would
yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know I'm a healer, and so these things will come up.
But
I'm
yeah,
sorry you're talking on a different
no,
subject,
but
but
that's I think again, it's a holistic. I think this topic is in itself is a holistic
yeah,
topic
yeah.
because personal brand is not just superficial. It's a lot about from inside. So I'm glad you're sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing those, I would say, the emotional, the valuable moments of your life with us. So that really means. So, okay, now we will just wrap this up with a quick rapid fire with Priyanka Kumar. And these will be some questions from her personal life, some questions from her choices, and some for the wisdom that we want to have from her. Okay, first thing that you notice when someone enter a room, anyone.
I think the smile, eyes,
Okay.
eyes, and smile is yeah.
One image mistake you think leaders often make,
Uh,
according to you.
Leaders often make is
Maybe.
trying too hard.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the extreme, either trying too hard or being absolutely careless.
Okay. That's a strong point. So
Yeah.
we need to strike that right balance
balance.
of social appropriateness, which we have been talking about. So if confidence had a dress code, what would it look like for you?
For me,
Yeah, I mean, according to you.
confidence. For me, I think it's a sari again, the way I'm looking at it. So, which is, in my case, it's me, nationalistic, fluid, global presence, embodying everything that I am. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's confidence for me. Whenever I know.
Being
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. A style icon you admire and why? I know, that's your favorite. That would be your favorite question.
You know, it's very interesting. A lot of people have flashed right before me. Okay.
I know a couple of them.
A couple of, yeah, but, you know, from Mahatma Gandhi to Indira Gandhi to, you know, a lot of people in terms of who've lived their brand.
Mm-hmm.
So they have all inspired me. You know, when I look at a lot of, I think it would be difficult, but there's in current times, if I was to name, like I like Amal Clooney. I think extremely well poised and presents herself beautifully well. I think Amitabh Bachchan. Then you've got from the Bollywood, you've got so many people, you know, so many people to look up to, and they've been able to do a justified job. And if
Yeah.
it was style creating, then I would say all Yash Chopra movies, all the heroines, you can count them in
The
there.
Bollywood.
All the Bollywood, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting answer because I think yeah, and all the examples that you mentioned, I noticed that they have been very consistent with their styles. So I think the consistency is the key for you to like someone.
Authenticity and consistency.
Yeah. All right, and your go-to mantra before stepping into any important room or a meeting or like any kind of place that you're entering, it's important. What's your go-to mantra before you step in?
So
That final touch.
The final touch is just to ease myself.
Okay.
Okay, so I just go by this philosophy that the whole universe is one.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm going, where I'm going is also me.
Yeah.
So it's just an extension of me.
That's so holistic.
So what I would do for myself, I will do for the other person. So
Yeah.
that inspires me. So they say Tattvamasi. I am the universe.
Wow. That's so, yeah, the belief in yourself is the key.
It is another concept of oneness, basically.
Yeah.
So it is, I go in with the feeling of whatever I do, wherever I go, is how can I
So you
contribute?
calm yourself down,
Yeah, yeah.
you just take a
So you'll
deep breath.
never find me if it's before a presentation or a workshop that I'm running around. I'll rather play a song. What they
Yeah.
say in Bangalore, chill madi. If I
Yeah.
think of my favorite thing to do, I'll think of my doggies. I'll think of my, there are few moments. Okay, this is a good technique. If I think it will help people. So maybe it's a exercise on visualization. So I remember of this time that I was very young, 19, and I was flying for the Manya Airways, and I had a house, like I was living with two of my friends on my own, and every morning, early morning especially, Bombay mein reh rahe hain, and I would go for the flight. And on that highway, when I went, that Bandra Bridge, I would feel, this is it. I am it. And I take myself back to that particular visualization every time I'm doing something. I'm
Wow,
like,
that's
this
an
is it.
anchor for you. I
That's
mean,
an
that's,
anchor for me.
yeah. So finding the right anchor that keeps you,
Yeah.
yeah, calm.
And sometimes, even I remember another one I've told my daughter when she was little. So sometimes I would be angry or mad at her, and we are in a situation. I would just say, start singing the song that I sang to you as a baby.
Oh.
And she would do that. And then if we were outside, just scratch your nose. So which is an indication, okay, chill.
Oh,
So yeah,
wow.
little things, you can
That's,
play games, have fun with yours. All I'm saying is, yes, it's a very, very interesting and must-do topic, but at the same time, have fun. Enjoy what you do.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
Take yourself seriously, but don't take yourself so seriously that it becomes boring.
yeah. That's really interesting. Especially the tips that you shared. Yeah, that they are pretty good. I mean, singing that song thing.
Yeah. You want to know which one it is?
Yeah, of
मेरा
course.
तुझसे है पहले का नाता
Oh my
कोई.
God, that's such a beautiful and connecting song.
Yeah.
An evergreen one. It goes for now. Like, it's my mom's favorite for her grandson.
Really? Oh my God, what a coincidence.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like, she loves dedicating that song to him.
I understand.
Yeah. All right. One leadership quality that never goes out of style.
Oh, okay, I've been harping about it is authenticity. Be yourself, and that yourself, and especially when your leader is not you. Like in social terms, it's not you.
Yeah.
So when you say when a father says me, it's his entire family. So like that in work environment, when you're a leader, you're leading a team. You are your team. So that understanding and that ability to authentically come out when you need a disciplinary hand, when you need love and affection, and to understand the difference between the entire extremities. So I would say again back to the point, balance.
Yeah. And being yourself, being your
yourself,
authentic self. Yeah. Okay, that's that's again something very valuable and deep, and it needs time, but it can be built. The good news is it can be built with consistency and practice and the right
yeah,
guidance.
Yes, that's important. See, because it happens, anyways, things will happen.
Yeah.
So when you when you aware of it and there's a structured process to it,
Yes.
the timeline is reduced, the energy is reduced, and it's more efficient and effective.
Yes.
So to get all that quicker, and I'm just saying, not only in today's world, but every time, there's a competitive advantage, definitely. That if you get this, all the time, energy, money, space saved.
Yeah. Why not? And focus on the things that.
And if the leader is helped,
Yeah.
imagine the team is helped. The team is helped, all the families there are helped.
Yeah.
So it's a very big ripple that you can give just by changing few things in how you conduct yourself.
Yeah. That's so deep. That's so thoughtful, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite non-verbal cue to build authority in a meeting?
Eyes, eye contact.
Yeah.
It can say a zillion
Make and break things.
Yeah, make and break things.
One investment in your wardrobe that's totally worth it. I know there must be a lot, but that one.
One, it's totally worth it. I will have to admit, it's a pretty white top that I have. It never fails.
Oh, wow. It's a classic piece
or
then.
the second, no, even better than that actually. I have a black jersey, like a top, which can be worn with a sari, skirt, anything that I play. It's
Versatile, super versatile.
and a very good quality, and it has survived through years. And every time I wear it, I'm like, oh, where did you get that?
Great investment.
Great. It's a simple white cashmere black top.
Oh, wow. That's like, so yeah, versatile
I'm going
things
to send you
are
a
all
picture of
around.
that too.
Sure. And I was about to ask that, would you mind sharing, like the brand, the place, or whatever, like any picture, if you can. Okay. And then a common myth about executive styling you want to bust today.
It has to be a jacket. That it has to be, a
A
tie
bla-
put on, or
Yeah.
it can be different. So this is a myth.
Yeah. Yeah. The power and authenticity can be built without it.
Without a power suit too.
Yeah. That's strong one. Okay. And a book or a resource that changed your perspective on leadership, or you would love to recommend to
You
people.
know the answer. It's the Bhagavad Gita. If I may
Yeah.
call it a book.
Yeah.
So my favorite piece of literature anywhere in the world still is the Mahabharata, and out of it, it's the Bhagavad Gita. I think that's been a
Great
blessing.
piece of wisdom. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has answers to almost all of your questions in the mind.
Yes, it does. And if it is taught early in life, then it guides you to live a good life.
It's a guiding stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only this life, but the lives to come.
I've heard a
perhaps.
lot of, I have taken a lot of lessons from her based on, and she always mentions some quotations, some quotes, and they are like, they help you understand in things like this. And she's great at explaining. That's another story.
Thank you.
Okay. If this is the last one, if you had 30 seconds to coach a rising leader or, anyone you're coaching, their big pitch. So it's the big day for them. So what would you say to them? It's the last 30 seconds before that. What's something that you're gonna, tell them before they are going for the meeting?
I'm going to say exactly what I tell myself. Tattvamasi, you are the universe.
Yeah.
You got it there. And just walk in and chill madi.
Beautiful,
And
beautiful.
if you do make a mistake, tat kyun? So what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't repeat it again. Just learn and go march along.
It's not the end of the world.
It's not.
It's okay. That's beautiful. I think not only for leaders, but everyone in our everyday and everything that we do, this thing applies that it's okay if it doesn't work. It's great if it works. You are the universe. Just be yourself and do things. I think that's
Do
beautiful.
what you can and you must. So
Yeah.
get up, do what you're required to do, and
Give
do it
your
to the
best.
best of your capacity.
Yeah.
And rest.
Thank you, Priyanka, for answering all these questions so beautifully and a lot of takeaways. Stay tuned for more at Poised Presence podcast, where we speak about, again, not just fashion, but identity, authenticity, and the power of self-expression in professional and personal life. Thank you.
Thank you very much.